creatures saw her and they said, "Oh, she's one of us, but she's flying. She must be the Messiah." And she quickly told them, "No, I'm not the Messiah. Each of you has to be the Messiah for your own self." And with that, she was gone. And they're looking to see where she is. But did they stop clinging? Did they stop resisting? No. They remained where they were, alone. And then from that, they made legends about the so-called Messiah. And so, who are you? Are you the current? Are you the creature? And do you know what the current is and what it is encouraging you to do? Because within every one of us creatures, there is the Spirit, and the Spirit is always trying to encourage us to let go and to trust and to cease the resistance so that we can see and experience and express what it is that the bigger, grander picture of life has for us. You know, this reminded me of some 40 years ago when I had just come back from Africa, and I went to the little house which was now dilapidated and so on, where I was born. And interestingly enough, it was on the side of a river. And I remember at that time, I was in my 20s, and writing in my diary that I know I will have come full circle when I can come back and live here. And what took me away from there to begin with, because you don't really understand why you're doing something. I might have had a reason, and it might have been just that it seemed too stifling and too parochial, and that everybody was expected to behave in a certain way, and so I needed to go somewhere else and do something else, but I didn't know truly what life had in store for me. I was just responding to an intuitive feeling. And here we are 40 odd years later, and the thing is that, yes, where I asked, I probably could go back there now. And part of the reason is because is it that things have changed there? Not necessarily so much, of course, because of events and situations and time, there are changes. But that wouldn't be the impulse that would take me there, that it now matches where I'm at. But rather what I hadn't seen at that time, which is an amazing community who really help each other and support each other and are always there. There's a stability and a consistency, which to a teenager was not at all attractive. And so as you get older, you see things in very different ways. At that time, I was just like a bystander, an observer, but now I can see the quality and the sameness, if you like. And so it doesn't matter, it's not about place, it's not about a geographical location, because the Spirit will find you wherever you are and will encourage you to get and be in touch with it. That just as that little creature said, you are each your own Messiah. That's not to say that we can't take on some help or receive a direction here and there, but that everything is already deep within your own spirit and is waiting for a manifestation. Now, I'm thinking we're just about coming into the season of Graduation. Is anybody here graduating from college soon? You're looking forward to your ceremony, the commencement address, and so on. There must be somebody here. And it's an old idea that life is like a school, right? We're all being educated. And when it comes to graduations, the whole class graduates together, don't they? And it means that they have done the coursework. It means that they've spent a certain amount of time in academia and that they have reached a certain level of competency, and on the basis of which then the status is conferred, they become graduates. Now, if we were to look at humanity as a species and think, are we anywhere near graduating yet? What would you say? No. If you were to look, rather than looking at humanity as a species, if you were to look at your own self, would you say we're almost ready to graduate? Not even? Not even? Because in the kind of a way, you're the hope for the world, aren't you? Somebody was telling me just recently about, some of you would know Dr. Joe Greer. I think he's the head of the medical department at FIU, a much-loved doctor who had, here in South Florida, who had even been asked by the president to be the Surgeon General because of all the work that he did with the homeless and the poor people under the bridges and everything. And of course, being a man of great humility, he turned it down. And somebody was telling me the other day that when the incoming students meet him for the first time, that what he always says to them is, did you know that you guys are going to change the world? You know, what an entree into their medical studies. And so in the same way, who is going to change the world? Isn't it you? Yes. Isn't it me? Yes. And so then just this thought of, again, hearkening or listening to the Spirit, because where the journey is going to take us is right back to where we started from. In the same way that I intuitively knew that when I could go back there, I would have come full circle. And so the journey of the soul, the journey of the spirit, it's like a completion, that you end up where you started. And I think it was conveyed by all of the people who were standing here at the front, that the essence of the soul or the essence of the spirit can be found in those qualities. And these are the qualities that not only do we want to see in others, but which we wish to express in our own selves. And the need for each of us to have that value for our own selves, and to know that as we increase what it is on the inside, then that automatically there is an effect on the outside. And that you, just by your being and by expressing your being, affect and add something to the whole. And this is not a small thing. And so not just to express yourself, but as you've done today, is to show up. No matter what, show up. Because in the showing up, you will maybe learn that you actually have something that you can provide to the whole, as well as receiving something from the whole. And it's a little bit paradoxical, where on the one hand, we can all graduate together, but that each one of us is eternally an individual, and that we have individual work to do. And part of the game, part of the journey, is finding out what your particular work is, what it is that you have been designed for, and what the intention is needed in order to fulfill that for which you have been designed. And the plug, of course, from the Brahma Kumaris is always going to be to do with meditation. That's one of the fundamental keys that will allow you to do the research on your own self, and to access a font of wisdom within your own self, and which you can then connect to the supreme source of goodness and of truth. Now, I'm not talking about a situation here where somebody's going to wave the flag and say, we've got the truth, you know, because even that is a very personal thing. And that it's not about facts, but it is that your truth can keep changing as you keep progressing, as you keep growing. And so that these questions, who are you? Where is your home? Where have you come from? Where are you going to? Can keep changing. Because I often feel as soon as you think, I have the truth, that instantly shows that you may not have the truth. That it's a never-ending kind of an exciting journey. And that little story that I told you is from a very wonderful book called Illusions. And that's what I think we simply are doing, and which meditation helps us with, moving out of the illusions and finding the quality of discernment that enables me to avoid the rocks and the batterings and the sorrow, etc., that I may otherwise have to endure. And so I'm going to finish there, advocating the practice of meditation. And I think my lovely sister Grace is now going to lead us into a song. And I would like you to meditate on this song, because it is expressing something very profound about the spirit itself. And so, just for the next few moments, to ruminate on this idea, I am light. Om Shanti.
So we'll start with 3 ohms. Please join along. I have made, or any of the things that cause me pain. I am not the pieces of the dream I left behind. I am light. 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 Oh yeah. I am light. I am light. I am light. I am light. I'm not the color of my eyes. I'm not the skin on the outside. I'm not my age. I'm not my race. My soul inside is all right.